I always say it was the best professional decision I ever made to come here. So I came as a nurse manager. I had an opportunity to lead a team when I first came as a nurse manager that I had not clinically practiced with as a bedside nurse. I then became an interim senior director here of acute care. I then was able to flip my portfolio as a senior director for critical care. And then really most recently have become the AVP for all of the services. So I think, you know, in general, the professional opportunities that are offered here at Nemours for folks that want to advance or to be supported just in their educational endeavors has really been pivotal, I think, for me and for all of my colleagues. You know, some of our magnet stories have really been about people that started here. You know, my boss, Dave Hancock, who is the VP of nursing, started here as a clerk in nursing school, became a nurse, was then a leader, like a clinical leader on the unit, then the nurse manager, then a senior director, and now the VP of nursing. So I think that's always just been a really positive aspect for me here. And I would also say a differentiator is our interprofessional care here. You know, when I came from the other children's hospital, I felt like nursing worked a lot in silos there. And when I came here, that was a very different experience, really being partners with social work and respiratory therapy and the pharmacy team. And actually our structure here now is that all of those services report up under patient care services. So it is not nursing as an island, it's all of our counterparts in our other professions. And I think our commitment really to patients and families is different here. It is a differentiator. We have a lot of patients that do have some care in other children's hospitals, but always tell us that it feels different when they are here and how their health and their child's health is really a priority.
So as a bedside nurse, I found that the most important factor in preventing that burnout and maintaining job satisfaction is a good work-life balance. And I can say working at Nemours and especially in the CICU, there has been, they do exceptionally well at doing that. We schedule 6 weeks out. We get 4 requests off a scheduling period. We get every 3rd weekend off. And our scheduling team does a great job at respecting those requests that we put in. I've never had one denied, which is great because it helps me like with my son's doctor's appointments, family events, getting some home maintenance done. I have a farm, so getting some of that work done is really helpful. Or if I just want to extend my vacation by a day or two without using some PTO, that's been great. When they have needed me to change a day, they come to me and they ask first. And it seems to be the experience with everyone that I work with. They go to them, they ask them, hey, can you change this day for this day? And if they can't, before they move you without your consent, they'll try to find someone else that'll change for you. And usually someone else will change instead of you having to. I've never had that, once again, that experience. So that is exceptional when it comes to that work-life balance, just being able to have that type of schedule. And then those of you that are interested in OT, Nemours provides exceptional compensation for those OT shifts. One of the other things that I really strive for is my mental health and maintaining it and improving it. And Nemours does, once again, an exceptional job at supporting their nurses. Every week they send out these mental health like bulletins on different programs that are available through the hospital, peer groups or wellness lines, those types of things. They have therapy dogs that come through the hospital, not just for the kids, but the nurses too. They come to the CICU and really they come to see the nurses, not so much our children, unfortunately, because they're intubated for the most part. But they come and they see us, and they even come on night shift and see those nurses, which is great too. And then throughout the week, we have teams that come around with a snack cart, a drink cart. They bring coffee, chips, candy, sodas, bottled water. Just that little appreciation goes a long way for your mental health when you're working in a high stress environment. And then during COVID, the CICU built a respite room, which has comfortable chairs that aren't computer chairs that you can go and sit in. And then the last thing I'd like to talk about that we do at Nemours is called Java with Jane. Jane Miracle is our CNO, and multiple times throughout the year, she meets with the night shift team at 4 a.m. in the morning. She gets up early and has a teleconference with all the units. She updates them on the happenings of what's going on in the hospital and then provides time for question and answers. I've heard some crazy questions asked, but the one thing that I've always seen is that Jane Miracle follows up with those questions. Whether you like the answer or not, she comes back and she talks to you about it. And working for an organization, it's extremely important knowing that, your concerns or questions are going all the way up the line and not just falling on deaf ears. Nemours is an absolutely amazing organization to work with, and we provide exceptional care to children. I hope you guys take the opportunity to explore everything we have to offer in the CICU and PICU.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny again, and I work in the PICU. And I would say this question has a couple elements that I want to touch on. But I think the biggest challenges in the PICU is a lot of times we do have these critically ill patients that come to us. And a lot of times we call certain patients critically stable, and children are notorious for deteriorating at the drop of a hat. And I think what's incredibly important as a PICU nurse and those challenges is knowing your resources that are available to you. And those resources, the strongest resources to me are the doctors at Nemours. And I can say I've worked at, this will be my 6th hospital now that I've worked at because my husband was military and I kind of picked up jobs along the way wherever I could work. But I want to say that Nemours has the best doctors that are willing to listen to your concerns and your input and about the patient. And so I think the doctors are our biggest resources. And I can honestly say that whenever I'm having an issue with a patient that needs to be fixed, I have a unique relationship with every doctor on the unit. And I can say, hey, these are my concerns about this patient. What can we do to improve their care and their outcomes? So I think that is a very unique challenge in the PICU, but it's always tackled in a very collaborative way, which I really, really appreciate. And then another element, you talk about autonomy in the PICU. And I think to me, autonomy is equivalent to advocacy for the patient, which again, like I said, goes to the strong bond that the nurses and the doctors have on the unit. And then very recently, we've been piloting some projects in the PICU to help with autonomy in the PICU. And one of those is our sedation pathway protocol. So what it does is it allows any patient, specifically any patient that's intubated and requires sedation, if they've had a certain number of boluses of said medication, let's say they're on a fentanyl drip and they've had 4 or more boluses within an 8-hour period, we have that autonomy to go up on the sedation drip, and it allows us to do that in the medical administration record, which I think is really cool because a lot of times, our patient, especially little ones, can be a little bit unsafe if they're starting to eat away at their sedation or they're becoming used to their sedation. So I think it's really important to be able to keep our patients safe. And that's something that I feel like is really cool that Nemours has done that I've seen piloted and work very well over the last year.
I think that the biggest thing is leadership is not really about Excel spreadsheets and budget and productivity, and not that I can't myself get caught up in that. It's really about being that role model for others, about being influential so that everyone can do their best job of being a mentor. And some leaders are formal, like a role that I would be in, but we have many informal leaders every day. And you could be a brand new nurse and be a leader, maybe take, some of the auditing things that we do on a daily basis, or join a group that's working on a project so that you're not owning it. And then slowly you'll increase your ability to be able to maybe champion, some type of effort on your unit, or even at a more global, like on a hospital level. There's a leader in everybody, and each of us as leaders need to support the growth of the leaders coming into the role.